day, I'm Anne Edwards and welcome to Face Off. Now, he's been termed as the rising star in opposition Parti Keadilan Rakyat PKR, YB Wong Chen, who is also Member of Parliament for Kelana Jaya. He sits with us in the studio today. Welcome, YB.
Thank you.
How are you doing? You know, a lot has been said about your image as well, especially during the run-up to GE13. Is there a reason for this image? You've been known as the Harry Potter of Malaysia.
Well, no, the Harry Potter thing is to do with my glasses, I'm sure. But I've had round glasses all my life. Big John Lennon fan. Not particularly a fan of Harry Potter, I would say. I probably read one or two books.
Ernie Chen sits with us, resident guest.
Good to have you here with us.
No.
And you are seen as the brains, really, in the PKR because you are termed as the economist, the strategist, the one who's going to become the Minister of Finance if PKR really do take over. What do you have to say about that?
Absolutely not true. I'm not the strategist. Rafizi Ramli is the strategist. I'm not the Minister of Finance or future Minister of Finance. That's the first time I've heard of this. What I do is I do write policies on economic issues to advise Dato' Sri Anwar and also the party. And I do particular research on particular issues.
We have this whole entire economic transformation program in the country. Since you are the one who writes the policy for economics, to advise Dato' Sri Anwar Ibrahim, and so happen if he does become the Prime Minister, obviously we'll have to look at the economic transformation program. Are we going to change it and drop it and have a whole entire new transformation program?
No, definitely not. I don't think the idea is for any drastic change. If there is a change of government, the most important issue is transition. Now, we have seen the ETP and the GTP, and we do like some aspects of it, but there are still systemic issues that needs to be resolved.
What are those systemic issues that needs to be resolved?
Definitely, a will to fight corruption is the primary missing ingredient in the whole of the ETP-GTP program.
Are they not making efforts towards that?
They are, but they're not making systemic efforts. You know, that's a key issue here. The key issue is about fundamental issues will be on party finance reform. Politicians need to get funding from the state. I think that is the key issue. If you don't do that, politicians will forever be in the so-called payroll, directly or indirectly, of rich donors. Now, we don't want to go down that path. What we need is good paying MPs to be paid well, so that they can be independent, to be good lawmakers, to represent the public. We need the state to fund political parties, so political parties are not, under the undue influence of business people or rich donors. So those things that's what's really missing in ETP and GTP.
So if you're saying that the government in totality is having a big issue in corruption, are we saying the PKR or the opposition party governing Selangor is corruption free?
No, I'm not saying that there is corruption or no corruption in Selangor matters, because I'm not a member of Selangor Exco per se. What I know is, as a member of parliament, from my personal experience, my pay is about 11,500 to 12,000 a month, but my office, my Pusat Hikmat, my social service center, runs on about 10,000 a month. And on top of that, I got to give 20% of my income, this is income plus allowances, to the party. So essentially I bring home nothing.
Not forgetting the GST that's going to be implemented soon.
Precisely. I mean, but I'm just giving you the experience of a member of parliament, what we go through.
So how do you survive then? What do you have to do to survive?
We have to raise funds, And when we raise funds, we are under the undue influence of certain donors. Now, I happen to have a donor who is my father. It's ironic. I'm 45 years old. I got to go and see my father every month for a payday check. But a lot of people don't have that privilege, you see. And I appreciate what they have to go through, because when constituents come and ask for $100, you have to do something.
Did you foresee this? That was going to happen to you before you took up office?
No, I understood the issue because at the policy planning, that's why we looked at party finance reform. We knew that the members of parliament were all suffering or struggling to survive financially. So it's important that in parliament we asked the government to actually pay for the Pusat Hikmat Service Centre to at least underwrite that bit. And therefore, the salary of the members of parliament are then their own salary. And 11,500, I mean, to many people, it's a lot of money. But in order to attract good quality policymakers, whether they are professors from universities and all this, who are paid 15,000, 20,000 a month, that transition for them to become members of parliament should be less painful.
So how much should MPs be paid?
If the government does not, if the government does not underwrite the cost of your service centre, I think easily 25,000 a month will be a good number, so that he can spend 10,000 there and 15,000 for his own family, sacrificing his, I suppose, a senior job in order to become a member of parliament. But I think that would be a good, comfortable figure.
You say the economic transformation program, there's some things that you do like, some of the things that the opposition do like of what's happening. What are those things that the government is doing well in as far as the economic transformation
Well, I
program?
think they're trying to liberalize the market. That is important, because we need to compete. And if you do too much protection, then you're not really moving forward as a nation in terms of competition, economic competition. So the liberalization has been done and carried out, but what we see is many systemic issues have not been resolved. How do we liberalize this? How do we privatize companies? What we've seen is, one tycoon in particular has taken up so many government privatization projects.
Which tycoon would that be?
Can you name him?
Well, everybody
Or her.
knows him. It's Syed Mokhtar, of course.
Okay.
He's eyeing KTM. He's taken over the ports, the airports.
But he's done quite a fair bit of development, and that went down well with the country.
Sure, I mean, he has built this wonderful mosque. He has built this university up in the north. I appreciate all that. But what we want to do is we don't want to create super tycoons in the country. That is contrary to economic policies. Good economic policy means to create a strong upper or middle class, comfortable middle class to upper middle class to propel the country forward.
So what are the specific things that we have to do as a country to be able to bring us up to a middle and upper middle class community?
Well, the economic issue here is the middle income trap, right? There are many thoughts have gone through this. A lot of people have given opinions
And also
on
the fact that this figure was given, less than or about 60% of the Malaysian population are earning less than 3,000 ringgit per month household income.
Yeah, that's why the BRIM came in.
Yes.
You see, for the first time, I appreciate what the government is doing. They are at least releasing data. We've always suspected that the income in Malaysia, we don't have extreme poverty. What we have is income insecurity, in the sense that if you fall sick for 2 to 3 months, that's it. Your savings is essentially wiped out. So
And handouts are not going to work.
No, handouts are not going to work. What we need to do is, in Malaysia is quite unique. We have a race issue as well,
Right.
And it's all tied up to the economic matter. Now, the important thing is we have a generally quite strong middle class amongst the Chinese community, and I hate to bring out these race matters, but let's look at it from the fundamental issue, the real data. We know the Chinese are reasonably comfortable. The Indians are also reasonably comfortable because they're a bit higher than the Malay in terms of earnings, the Bumiputra. But the Malays have a great disparity between the middle class and the extreme poor. Now, the Malays have this super class, and they're there. The ones driving the Ferraris, the Porsches, the Rolls Royce and all that.
Isn't this due to cronyism?
Yeah, but in terms of economic planning, what we need to do is we need to alleviate the Malay and build a Malay strong middle class. And the way to do it is really to dismantle the GLC via management buyout, which is one of the key policy issues that I've been pushing for.
Do the Malays really want to be enhancing and increasing their livelihood, or they prefer to just be back at the rural areas in the kampungs?
No, absolutely not. I tell you, I worked in Keadilan. We're a multiracial party, and I work with with a lot of my fellow Malays. Rafizi, Ramli is outstanding. Nurul Izzah is fantastic.
But if the Malays want change, just a follow-up from Ernie's question, and these are Malays in the rural areas, majority of them voted for Barisan Nasional in the past election.
Sure. Yeah, the Malay rural area
So
has
they're
their own
comfortable.
specific issues.
They still want BN.
No, I would disagree with that, because I think the campaign that went on in the rural area just prior to the G13 was really quite negative. It's negative campaigning, and the fact that we don't have the reach to that area, internet penetration is still very low. The fact that maybe my party in particular may not have very good network down in the area yet, not very strong. Those were the contributing factors why we lost. But the key issue here was the rural folks were scared into voting Barisan Nasional. I don't think there's a real love that they all know about the cow case. They all know about NFC. So they know about corruption. But why do they tolerate it? I mean, it's something
They're
that
scared.
I would think there were some messaging that the government put out. in particular about the fear that the DAP or the Chinese might come or the Christians might come into power, which is completely untrue.
So using religion and also racism.
Religion, tapping on their fears. I mean, this is negative campaigning. In politics, you can either campaign on the positive side, which is what Obama did in 2008, or you can campaign on the negative side.
And that negative campaigning continues. Ernie.
Why did you choose PKR to be the party for you to be doing your work for the country?
Why not DAP?
Oh, I was brought up in Kota Baru,
Kelantan.
Kelantan. I was born in Selangor, but I was brought up in Kota Baru, and I have a lot of Malay friends. As you can imagine, living in Kota Baru, we speak Kelantanese, we eat Malay food, we eat ayam pecik and all that. But then later, at the age of 12, I was sent to Singapore to study in the international school. So I've always taken on this role where race doesn't really matter to me, and looking at the options.
So are you saying DAP is very, very Chinese or too Chinese?
No,
for you?
DAP is Chinese. I mean, you can't deny the fact. I mean, you look at the membership roles, and you can see that it's primarily Chinese.
Wouldn't you play a better role to be able to encourage more Malays to come into it, since you have so many Malay friends and you don't really see it much of an issue, and that's what really DAP needs help in?
No, yeah. DAP have their own struggle and their own path to take. I thought by looking at the two parties, essentially DAP and PKR, that I liked what Rafizi and Nurul were doing. Therefore, this was the most appropriate party for me.
But a lot of people have been saying that PKR is really a smaller version or a little brother to UMNO.
You mean
That's
UMNO
right.
Light?
UMNO Light.
UMNO like, and
No.
so it has issues of
Correct.
nepotism and also cronyism.
No, I don't think so. Look, to be fair, I think most of the political parties in Malaysia are not driven by ideology. Yeah? So there's no left or right wing, not in the UK or not in America style. All Malaysian parties are centrist, right? In PKR's position, we are centrist and we are driven by personality, which is basically Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim.
Which isn't that a big issue? Because if he gets gunned down tomorrow, who will be the next leader in place?
I mean, God forbid he gets gunned down. I don't think we're going to start political assassinations in Malaysia. But
I won't be too sure about that because of the
All
crime
the
rate going
shootings
up.
that's going
Ridiculous.
it is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I don't see that as an issue so much because what we can see is if you want to say that PKR is UMNO Light, it is not true because PKR is really multiracial and it has a lot of strong Sabah Sarawak components as well.
But not as strong or I would say penetrating as Barisan Nasional or UMNO. Even in Sabah and Sarawak, they have made quite
in Sabah, yes,
good inroads. Yeah,
but they've destroyed Sabah politics. I mean, I don't know whether you're from Sabah or you know much about Sabah politics, but I'm sure the Kadazans are not happy. I feel really sad for them. With the RCI coming out, what you see now is all this opening of cans of worms are coming out, and you can see how did the Kadazans lose their position in Sabah? It's ridiculous.